tornado warning that was in effect has been canceled. That is good news. The threat of a tornado seems to have diminished a little bit. Nonetheless, the severe thunderstorm warning for that particular storm remains in effect until 4:30, which is in about 16 minutes or so, for that same storm. The threat of a tornado is still there. It's just not as widely indicated. It seems to showing up on the radar not to show the signs that it could be reaching the ground. We saw that from our tower cams as well. We're not seeing any lowering of the cloud base. We don't see anything coming out of the bottom of the clouds there. If we can go to the Walker tower cam, we'll be able to see that. Yes, you can see the lowering of the clouds. You can see some of those detached darker clouds down at the bottom. Those are not attached to the storm system itself, so these are what we call scud clouds. These are not tornadoes. They don't appear. That's just a big rain shadow underneath that. It may also contain some hail. So the good news, Elena, right now we're not seeing the rotation that we did earlier. This is an update to the rotation. If you recall earlier, this was over toward the Grattan area and Lincoln Lake and M44, Wabasis Lake area. It is now moving into northwestern Ionia County. This is still along M44, south of Fisk Road, north of Button Road. We all know where those are, or Miriam Road. So if you're in the Belding area, you should already have put all your plans into place, get to a place of safe shelter, close those garage doors, secure all your personal property, make sure you know where your kids are, your pets, and those kinds of things to keep everyone safe. You've got several minutes of warning here, but right now there is no tornado warning for northeastern Kent County. That has been canceled. We have just the severe thunderstorm warning in effect in those areas. Also, for the folks in southwestern Mecosta County and northern Montcalm County. It's now passed to the north of Howard City. I'm sure there was many folks that have gotten a lot of heavy rain, maybe even some hail there up through the Amble region. It is raining very heavily. Maybe some gusty winds around Morley, heading up into the Stanwood. This area is moving pretty much northeast at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. But this is the storm that we've been tracking. Still a severe thunderstorm warning for a small portion of eastern Kent County around the Grattan area and northwestern Ionia County as that storm continues to pummel those areas on all the way up to the Greenville region. I don't know if we have anything new to pass along. I love it when I get new information here. This is the new severe thunderstorm warning that has just come out. It looks like it's an update to the warning that we just talked about. Going to take a look at what's going on inside this particular storm. The National Weather Service continues this severe thunderstorm warning, but now it's been upgraded to a considerable threat for those storms as it moves from the south. It's moving north at 20 miles an hour, according to the National Weather Service. Already hitting the Morley area very hard. Be heading up toward the Big Rapids, Stanwood, Canadian Lakes area, where we've had some storms earlier this year, and eventually up into Rodney. So this is the threat from this is up to 1 3/4 inch diameter hail and winds possibly up to 70 miles per hour. It looks like for the most part, the folks in the very eastern Newaygo County, you may not be seeing any more from this storm. It looks like the majority is moving just now into southwestern Mecosta County. I don't know if we have any updates from Nathan or perhaps some storm-related power outages. Elena, anything?
Yeah, we're still keeping an eye on some of these power outages on the northeast side of Kent County, looking north of about Sheffield area. Further away, kind of to the east of Cedar Springs there, quite a few power outages in that area. That's where we saw a lot of those thunderstorms about an hour ago. So that's due to that at this time, but not a lot elsewhere in the county. A small section here, a bit fewer than 100 customers affected near the Boswick Lake area, just a little bit north of that. We're also taking a look. We've got a couple crews out on the road right now. We've got Nathan Lee, 13 Sides Nathan Lee, looking here. He's on Northland Drive or West River Drive, heading toward the Belding area where he's seeing some heavy rain. in that area. We also have a crew that's heading out to the Wabasis camp area, checking on some reports of possibly something happening there. So we'll keep you updated on that throughout the evening. Make sure you're staying with us to get any of those updates about what these crews are seeing live out in the field. We'll have that coming up for you whenever we learn some more. Also want to just put an extra shout out there to, if you have any pictures or videos, make sure you're sending that to us. We can use these as a great tool to get information from out in the field of what is happening. Of course, if there's active weather where you are, make sure you're indoors and you're not going outside to take any pictures, putting yourself in any danger, but anything can help share what's happening in the region based off where you are by helping to send in some of those pictures. I know we've had some reports of hail. Some folks have sent in some photos of that hail in different areas across West Michigan. So that is really, really helpful to do. You can text 616-559-1310. We also have a QR code that you can put up. George, do we have that QR code that we can put on the screen for people to send some photos?
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. You can text the word storm also to 616-559-1310 to get the instructions on how to do that as well. Now, we've had a couple of folks talk to us about why we're cutting in and staying on for what seems to be just heavy rain. Well, we've already had reports of some damage in some areas around the Grattan area. There's also the possibility of that camp there. The reason why we're on is because not everyone can sit in their living room in air conditioning and watch their game show or Judge Judy because they need to be going somewhere to protect their family and their property. So this is the reason why we stay on the air, because they may not know they are in the damage path, or at least in the danger path. So again, this is why we stay on the air, to protect our viewers from the weather. And hopefully you might learn something also from what we're talking about, and perhaps may use the safety tips we're putting out there right now. So when the storm does affect you, you know what to do instead of complaining about being on the air. So again, this is the reason why we stay on the air. And of course, we love to have your photos and or videos sent to us as well.
We do have a damage report out of Cascade of trees down.
Trees down in the Cascade area.
Yes.
Those were from around about 1:40 this afternoon with the
okay.
first storms that came on through.
Okay.
And so that is those storms that are have now moved over into portions of the Grand Ledge area. Right now, the storms in question are still in northwestern portions of Ionia County. We got a lot of information, a lot of people in my ear, a lot of people talking to me right now, just trying to sort all this information out. A lot coming out at us. That's the storm that is moving up into southern Mecosta County. That could be threatening folks there as well. Got a lot of campers out this time of year. A lot of people at some of the lakes enjoying themselves. They're looking on the horizon going, is that a storm I should be concerned about? You should be concerned about all storms, but yes, this is a view of one of the storms. This is from our airport tower cam looking north up toward the storms into the north. The farther away the storms are, it looks like the storms are on the ground. That's because the earth curves, and so it looks like the storm is actually on the ground when it is actually several thousand feet above the ground. The other storms that we're talking about are in northeastern Kent County, and that's a view from our Walker tower cam. The storms are still producing some very heavy downpours, perhaps some large hail, and of course those gusty winds, perhaps up to 60 miles an hour. It looks like the heaviest storms are now affecting the Greenville and Belding areas. And as we are driving toward those storms and looking at those storms, and this is our storm chaser, looks like they're heading to the east on Belding Road. So yes, heavy downpours. Again, the person that, Nathan, who is doing the navigating, is not doing the video. That is being driven by one of our photojournalists. So heading to those locations to see whether or not anyone has been injured or hurt from this or any kind of damage. Elena, you want to comment at all?
You know, we've had a lot of viewers texting us in the last hour or so about wondering why they heard the tornado sirens across Kent County, especially, you know, we heard them here at our station in Walker, you know, close to the Grand Rapids area, where this wasn't the concern for that tornado warning, but those sirens are issued on a area-wide basis. So this was the concern near the Grattan-Belding area for that possible tornado, which is now, that warning has been canceled. But here's the thing, they are going to go all across the county so everyone knows to stay safe, but that's why you need to tune in and check to see where this location specifically is. When you hear those tornado sirens, they're really for the people who are outside and not access to maybe some of these things to figure out what's going on. This is an image from Belding right now where you can see there quite a dark clouds, heavy rain, as we've been seeing from our photojournalist and our reporter Nathan Lee in the weather chaser there. Quite a bit of rain in that location. We've also had some reports of hail. Looks like their camera might be a little bit frozen there, but there we go. They're on Belding heading eastbound. So in that area, still some heavy rain. And if you're getting any reports of hail, please send it in so we can relay that to you guys. We also have another crew heading toward the Wabasis camp location where there could be some reports of damage. We're waiting to see what comes out of that. So stay with us. At this time, do we still have any of these warnings to look out for right now, George?
No updates for the Weather Service. I'm sure they're just as busy as we are, if not more. So the warning is still for the Grattan area, but the bulk of the storm appears to be south of M57, north of M44, approaching the Montcalm County, Ionia County line. Probably raining very, very heavily in the Greenville area, southwest of Greenville, up to the northwest of Belding. Lots of lightning with the storm, perhaps even some hail as well. The inside of the storm is showing hail capable up to 1.5 inches in diameter. Right now, this is where the highest hail potential is, right in through there to the southeast of Greenville, north of Belding. Not an indication of the size of the hail, but certainly the potential for hail there. Again, it's the rotation that we've been tracking. That's the reason why they've had severe thunderstorm warnings with tornado possible, and then a tornado warning, which was canceled, but the severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for those areas. So at any time, this storm can re-intensify, just like the one moving up into southwestern Mecosta County. This one can build up very quickly in the heat of the afternoon and early evening. There is a considerable threat tag associated with this storm. It is now moving north of Morley, heading up towards Stanwood, and the radar is updating every 2 or 3 minutes, so this may have moved, a few miles further north, so it could also be up in the Stanwood area and Canadian Lakes area. And this has had a history of producing at least heavy downpours and some moderately sized hail, enough to perhaps ding your car up a little bit. So in these areas, southwestern Mecosta County, should be protecting your property. Maybe get your car or your SUV under cover. Bring in those sensitive things outdoors that could be blown around, or at least secure them. Quickly throw them up into the vehicle, or throw them into the garage. Not throw them into the garage, but just get them into the garage. Secure your patio furniture. More importantly, know where your kids are and your pets. Make sure they're protected from the storms. Looks like some flooding here in Rockford. Lena, you can talk about this.
This is some flooding that we're seeing here in the Rockford area. We've got a crew heading there to check it out too. It looks like this vehicle is fairly well submerged in this road. Just a reminder, if you're seeing flooding on the street anywhere you're going, do not drive into it. You don't know how deep it is. There could be a large pothole or just a lower setting of a road there. So do not drive through any flooding that you're seeing. Keep that in mind. We've also had some video or picture of that was at 14 Mile and Ritchie in Rockford of that flooding. This is a look at the Walker camera. This is downtown facing north toward the Rockford area, the northern Kent County area, where you can still see some heavy clouds, some rain off in the distance. Looks like things, as we mentioned, are moving to that northeast area here. Some more flooding pictures being sent in. Thank you guys so much for sending in these pictures. They're really helping us tell the story of what's happening across West Michigan right now. What location is this? Do we know what location this photo of this flooding is? This is Rockford near 14 Mile, up in that area. Some more flooding. You can see it covering the road there. Once again, do not drive through any flooding. You don't want to be in a situation you can't get out of. It's very dangerous when you don't know how deep the water is covering the road. Another look at downtown and those heavy clouds as you take a look north from our downtown camera. Looks like there is quite a bit here. Okay, and now we've got this live look from our weather chaser. This is on Wabasis Lake Road here. Let's head on over to Third Change Your Signs' Nathan Lee to let us know what he's seeing in that area as he's riding with the driver. Nathan.
It's the campground, but you can see this rain is still coming. It has been for the past 10 minutes. And I'd like to say these storms caught a lot of people by surprise, believe it or not. We saw a motorcycle on the highway. This is definitely not the weather that you want to be riding a motorcycle in. But yes, we're headed north now on Wabassis Avenue here, headed toward that campground. We will make sure to keep you updated on if we see any damages while we're going there. And we'll make sure to keep you updated if the storm develops in any way. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Nathan Lee. Once again, in a passenger watching what's happening out there. Heavy rain on Wabassis. Checking on that area. We also have another crew checking the camp area there for any possible reports of any damage, as well as a crew heading toward the Rockford area where we're getting some reports of flooding, especially around 14 Mile. We've had some pictures that you guys have been sending us in. 14 Mile, Ritchie, and Rockford, some heavy flooding. This is a look north from our downtown tower camera where they still have those heavy clouds there. Another reminder, do not be driving through those the floods covering the roads. You don't know how deep it is and you could get stuck in your vehicle or in a pretty dangerous situation. So if you're seeing that flooding, avoid it if you can. This is a look at Walker facing east where things, still pretty dark skies out there, George.
Absolutely. These are for our folks in northeastern Kent County, a lot of folks here in downtown Grand Rapids, other areas. What's the fuss? We've got maybe even a little bit of sunshine out there, but we have quite a bit of flooding rains. We've had some large hail in this part of the county, had some trees and power lines down earlier this afternoon in southeastern Kent County, but the storms in question are moving now out of the Kent County and northwestern Ionia County area. And in fact, the severe thunderstorm warning associated with that has now been canceled. So that is good news. That is this particular area where we had zoomed in on. This was the area of concern for the rotation as well. As the storms have now moved out of this region, the warnings have now been canceled, which is the good news. So even though we still have the threat of storms here in west Michigan yet this afternoon and this evening, you'll want to stay aware of your surroundings, aware of where all of your family members are located, just in case there are more storms that pop up here this afternoon and this evening. But right now, the severe weather threat is starting to wane a little bit here in Grand Rapids, Ionia, and the Belding area on up toward Greenville. The storm's still ongoing as they head up into the Big Rapids area, but those two are starting to move into areas that are on the northeastern part of our viewing area. And once the heat of the day starts to go away, I think our threat of storms will start to diminish. So unless we have new reports coming in, unless we have more verification of damage that's coming our way, I think that we are going to wrap up our coverage here and set ourselves for updates coming up here on 13 on your side at 5 o'clock. Lena, anything else to add before we wrap things up?
Another pitch to send us the pictures and any video that you have that you are able to safely take. I know we're getting a lot of reporting from flooding from the Rockford area, especially one in a retirement community near 14 Mile. So if you were able to share with that, once again, don't drive through it. Make sure you're not going through any water that you don't know how deep it is. That's pretty dangerous. And George, we're keeping an eye on this for this evening.
We hope so. Yes, absolutely. So we're going to reset. We'll be back with you. In the meantime, the way you can stay updated is, of course, with social media. We'll just look at our Facebook page and our Twitter feeds and share those photos and videos with us that we've been sharing the information with you throughout the afternoon into the early evening. Continue to watch the icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Crawl across the bottom. You'll get the very latest weather information. Of course, we'll break in if there is any threat to life or property. So once again, thanks for staying with us here this afternoon. This evening, we'll see you at 5 o'clock.
This was a severe weather alert.